r/ask Reddit, what's the dumbest thing you've ever done because your brain was on autopilot? I got up and took my 3 nighttime meds, 2 sleeping pills and a rather sedating Neuromed, instead of my morning meds. I had an instant where I thought maybe I could go to work. But then wisdom prevailed and I called in sick. Recently I was trying to microwave some popcorn and instead of putting the popcorn packet in the microwave I put in the plastic wrap and proceeded to press start. I did not realize what I had done wrong until I looked down at the popcorn packet and thought something's not right here. 2 and 2 got put together before anything nasty or disastrous happened, thankfully. Not me, but my husband called me from work. PC he forgot to put a shirt on before leaving, and could I bring him one, please? He was just wearing a jacket. Evidently he tossed it on to go start the car in the cold and never took it off. You guys ever drink from a straw, then zone out and tilt it like you're drinking straight from the cup, and put whatever you're drinking all over yourself? Shaved off an eyebrow. Was shaving my chin etc. and my eyebrow got itchy so I scratched it with the razor. Scanned a customer's groceries, removed the dividing bar from my register, began scanning the next customer's groceries. Put the coffee where the water should go, then put water in the pot itself and turned the machine on. Pro tip: you can't really smell burnt coffee. Another time I woke up staring at my front door, from the outside, in my boxers. At 7 in the morning. Without the key. Still don't have a clear picture on what happened, and how. I was living alone as well, can't blame but my own stupidity for this one. Went to the washroom at work, was using the urinal when I suddenly realized that I don't normally see myself in the mirror while peeing. Suddenly realized I was pissing in the sink. I'm a dog mom and frequent dog shelter volunteer. I was working in the yard the one day and realized how bad my allergies were. I went to take a Benadryl and instead of taking it normally, with water, I stuck the tab on my finger, swiped it in a jar of peanut butter and stuck it to the roof of my mouth. Like a dog. Immediately spit it out lol. When I was in the 10th grade, I went to school in the next town over. This usually meant that I had to get up at 6 a.m. to make the bus. Woke up one morning at 6 a.m., got up, and did all my morning shit, including my morning shit. Noticed the clocks were all wrong, and figured the power must have gone out, because they all said 2430. Walked 20 minutes to the bus stop before I started to wonder why it was dark out, and there was no traffic. Looked at my watch. 2455. Fuck. Walked back home, went to bed. Redid everything 6 hours later. I work at a fast food place where most of our food is served in bowls. Often if I'm not paying total attention I'll nearly dump an entire dish into a bag without putting a lid on first. It's hilarious until you have a cheap paper bag full of mac and cheese and bottom breaks out, covering the counter and floor with cheese and noodles. At the end of work changed out of my work clothes, put them in the laundry and proceeded to put on my next pair of work clothes. My regular clothes were right in front of me the whole time. I normally only see my neighbor when I arrive home from walking my dogs, so I'm holding the dogs on leashes as I greet the old guy next door most times and have to tell the dogs to come along. One day I dropped the dogs off inside my place and headed out to bring the bins in after collection. See the neighbor and exchange greetings as per usual. As we finish I turn to the bin and say, "Come on, let's go." Went to work even though I had the day off. Was so used to working the same schedule when I was cashier at Borders and then they switched up my schedule. I woke up, thought I was going to be late, so I sped run my routine, got on the train, got to work, and only after I ran into my manager did I remember I was off that day. I'm a Kiwi living in the US. I just recently moved and I still haven't gotten used to what side of the car the steering wheel is on. It's on the right in New Zealand. When I am distracted or stressed, I'll go to my car, drop my bags in the back seat, then get in the passenger seat and buckle my seatbelt. It's only when I can't find the wheel that I have my go damn it moment. I always feel super self-conscious afterwards, thinking that someone might have seen me. I stay in the car for a bit until I feel like the people aren't nearby anymore. I then swap sides and drive away 5 minutes after I got to my car. Once I was sick, and not thinking too well. A package delivery person rang the doorbell. Me, not thinking, got up from the couch, walked up to the door, and knocked on it. Then I opened the door to a mildly confused delivery man and took the package. It wasn't until I had closed the door, box in hand, that I realized my error. I work in sales. One day I was speaking with a customer, face to face, while holding a stapler in my hands. I was kind of fiddling around with the stapler while talking, then for some stupid reason I stuck my finger in the stapler and punctured it with a staple. I tried to hide what I'd just done and tried so hard not to react to it. I was playing a very intense video game match, and during the break period my mum opened my door, and since the door was behind me I was just gonna turn around and ask her what she needed. I turned me character in the game around, a full 180, and had no idea why I couldn't see my mum. I literally mixed up my in-game movement for real-life movement. Got home from work after a long, difficult shift at work. Usual routine was shoes off at the door, go pee, throw socks into the laundry hamper, wash hands, get started on making dinner. Had a brain fart that day after work, managed to get my shoes off at the door. Took my socks off and threw them in the toilet, washed my hands, started making dinner. I didn't realize what I'd done until I was halfway through eating and suddenly felt like my bladder was gonna explode. Found my socks in the toilet bowl and felt like the world's biggest idiot. Probably the time I was handed a technical drawing for a piece of equipment that was being installed in a courtroom but was not going to fit properly. I was trying to find the exact dimensions of the device, and instead of looking closer at the paper I attempted the pinch and zoom method like you would do on your phone. Not sure I have ever felt so stupid. I used to work a 6 a.m. shift. I am not a morning person. Spent 3 years at that job and never became one, but 2 times stand out to me. One time my alarm goes off, I roll out of bed, get dressed, ready for work. It's winter so it's pitch black out still, get out to the car, turn it on. Notice the stereo says 3-something am. It hadn't been my alarm, my phone wasn't on silent for once and it got in a wrong number call. The other time, I'm driving to work, absent-mindedly pate my pocket and don't feel anything, panic and realize I'd forgotten my keys. So I hang a U-turn, pull back into the apartment parking lot, turn off the car, get back to my front door, and as I'm about to unlock my front door, I realize the reason my keys weren't in my pocket was because I was driving and they were in the ignition. I teach group fitness over a very loud pop star-esque microphone. At the end of the class I have things that I like to say, such as congratulations. That's your workout for the day, no one died. You made it. Let's stretch it out, etc. On one particular day when I was especially tired I said congrats, you made it dead. I sat there confused for a minute at what I just said when one of my members said hell yeah, I'm dead. This is why I stopped coming in the first place. Needless to say, she saved me from being too embarrassed. I was filling out a form, on paper and with the pen. I needed an account number. I went online, logged into my account, located my account number, highlighted it and hit CNTRLC. Then I looked down at the paper. As luck would have it, there was no CNTRLV on the piece of paper. Went to work on a holiday. Listened to the radio hosts talk about said holiday while I drove there. Parked in the empty parking lot. Walked through a dark building alone to my desk. Didn't even think to wonder if something was wrong until I checked my intra-office email and realized there was literally nobody but me in a vast space with 20 cubicles. Added twist, did the exact same thing on the exact same holiday several years later. I used to drive city bus in my town. On this particular day I was on a route that was close to my home. Instead of taking a left and continuing en route, I took a right and headed home. With a bus full of people. Last week I opened my car door without taking a step back. The corner of the door hit me in the face and busted my lip. I didn't even realize I was bleeding till I looked in the mirror and there was blood all over my teeth. Got home, entered the alarm code. Alarm started screaming. I punched the code in again. And again. And again. Why won't this fucking thing turn off? Wave at the neighbors coming out to see who is burgling the house. Text my mum, the alarm is broken, can't get it to turn off. Long story short, I was entering the work alarm code. Brain was fried. When I was young, probably around the age of 6, I was walking down the stairs of the apartment my father had just rented. We were walking together. I was probably about 6 steps behind my father at the time. My dad is notorious for being slow going down the stairs. I started thinking about some random things. Not going to give details on that though. My father sees one of his new neighbors, apparently an old friend of his. He stops walking and I don't notice. I continue walking and end up in the basement of the structure by the time that I notice what I've done. My father came rushing down the stairs about 5 minutes later shouting my name. I was there looking at my hands, drawing on them as if nothing had happened. My ass walked down 12 flights of stairs without a parent or supervisor at the age of approximately 6 because I wasn't thinking and drew on my hands like it didn't matter.